So this girl went from the broken environment she had living in one room in a meth house with her dad and mom and brother, being in that environment, to being in the capital of her state of Texas for that week, meeting different legislatures, getting to tell her foster story to them as we're passing bills to help kids like her. Like, that's all God's timing.
All right. State Representative Denise Villalobos, thank you for joining me in the den.
Yeah, it's a pleasure to be here.
I'm out of breath a little bit because I'm running around a little bit, setting things up. It's the small details. Have you ever been on a podcast before?
Yes, I have.
All right. How many? Plenty?
A handful, definitely.
How often do they invite you to do them?
Maybe once a quarter or every other month, different podcast. Yeah.
Oh, really? Which ones have you been on?
Texas Tribune, and then just some small different YouTubers, some activist ones. It's actually, I would say, out of all the different interviews I do, whether it's like through the actual news like KIII and stuff, or radio, podcasting is definitely my favorite style of interviewing. You just, you get to really get in the details, and it's just a normal conversation.
Yeah.
So.
I like it too. Like, sometimes I see an interview and I'm like, why am I not engaged in the interview? Because it's just like questions, like pre-scripted questions. I don't like that style. I like conversation.
Yes.
Do you like conversation?
100%. Yes.
How often do you engage people in conversation?
Every second of the day. That is what politics is about. Networking.
Mm-hmm. I know a lot of people that don't like networking. I love it because you get to meet people, you get to discover different gifts and talents, and sometimes it's like, that's exactly what I need. Can you help me with this? Or you have what they need. But what do you think of people that don't like to conversate and network?
You get in, or you get out what you put into it.
Okay.
And so there was a period of time where I didn't like small talk, because I was just going through the motions. I didn't really care what was coming back on the other end.
Yeah.
But when you truly just invest your time, and like, I do want to know what the other person is saying. I do want to know how they view the world. That's where the gold of networking truly is.
Yes.
And when your heart's in it, when you're fully engaged in a conversation, you get all those golden nuggets, and it really just helps you later on in life. Who knows when?
Right.
Like, I've networked, man. That's probably the number one thing I tell young people when they're in school, when they're starting their first job, when they're in college, all the different things. The number one thing you can do is learn communication, learn how to sell yourself, but network, because you never know when someone else is going to come back into your life later on.
Right. And I see some little commercials that pop up on my social media about learning to have conversation and how to do it right, and not just to say hello. But I think there's something to be said for small talk. I think it can't just be small talk. It has to. I think it's okay if it's opening the door to a greater conversation. And I think sometimes people relax and lower their guard during the small talk to be able to enter into more serious, maybe controversial or delicate, serious conversation.
Yeah. The icebreaker, the appetizer,
Right.
however you want to describe it.
Right.
Yeah.
Have you always been a good communicator?
I was in speech and debate when I was in school, middle school and high school. So I was trained.
So that's a yes. So I was not. I could not speak in front of people. I got kicked out of honor classes in high school because I wouldn't do oral book reports. My ears would get red, my voice would break. It was just a horrible experience. So it was a requirement for you to do oral book reports in English and some other subjects that I was in honor classes for, and I wouldn't do them. I said, I'm not going to do them. Kick me out. Put me in regular classes if you got to. Then I got to college and I had to do them there, and still it would break, and it was just horrible. I would try to get partners that were more conversational and more vocal so that they could do those parts, but I still had to do some, and it was miserable for me. It wasn't until I gave my life to the Lord, I started moving in ministry and helping in youth ministry and stuff like that, that my pastor asked me to speak to a group of youth. I couldn't even give announcements to them.
Oh, wow.
Like, let's just say it's after church and kids are just sitting around in the pews. I couldn't go to them and say, hey, we got this, that, and the other. That's how bad it was. That day, it was a Saturday morning. We're doing a mini retreat for the youth, and I got up there and I shared a 1-minute message of encouragement. And I was like, wow, I did it. I got off the stage and my pastor says, wow, you sound like a preacher. And from that moment on, I knew I was going to preach. But it didn't come natural. It was not part of who I was. But you were, how were you able to do that? That was tough for me in middle school. There was too much confidence?
So middle school, I was in 7th grade in 2007. And it was during, that I entered speech and debate, modern oratory. Turned out I was really good at it.
Wow.
I had no idea prior to that that I had a good public speaking capability.
So you were that student.
But
that was always making me look bad.
No, they called me the curve breaker in college, but let's not talk about that. I was pretty shy kid growing up, so it was actually a surprise to a lot of my educators when I joined speech and debate and stuff.
That's good, but you're new to politics though.
Oh, I guess freshman year in the legislature. Yes.
So what were you using those skills, those conversational skills for, the debate skills?
Okay.
Just to debate your husband?
No. So engineer, I worked in the oil and gas industry for about a decade.
Definitely.
Project manager, overseeing different capabilities, contractors, all those things. And then just so being able to communicate the vision of the project, what we're wanting to get done, confronting things when they were looking how they were not supposed to be.
Oh, yeah.
And then also on the professional side of things, just learning and growing my network around me to kind of rise in the ranks of the oil and gas industry.
Oh, wow. So you could come out on the show Landman?
Yeah, I know exactly what that is.
Yeah.
So my first 5 years of experience was in refining, which is all downstream. And then my next 5 years of experience was in midstream, which is all the pipelines. Landman is actually based in the upstream sector. There's 3 sectors. Upstream, pipeline, mid, and downstream. And so I've done 2 of the 3 now, and Landman's that last one. But yeah,
Wow.
we dealt with Landman a lot in my role. So
That, to me, that's a very interesting like environment, right? A lot of wheeling and dealing. Were you in that sector where you were making deals and that kind of stuff? Decisions and...
Not to the level of Landman, no. But making deals with third-party vendors on buying and selling oil, yes.
Okay. So were you connected like with the Texas Railroad Commissioner?
They do audits on pipelines, yes.
Okay.
And then I will actually say this. So I wanted to go into politics ever since I was a little girl, like super little. And so when I graduated college, the first job I got out of college as an engineer was for Pinnacle, and they do reliability for refineries. But the reason I sought out that job was because the CEO of the company was the railroad commissioner at the time. Yeah. And I was like, oh, I want to learn as much as I can from him, network with him, communicate with him, so I can...
Who was it at the time?
Ryan Siddon.
Ryan Siddon. How long ago was that? without
That was in
telling your age?
2015.
2015.
Yeah.
So we had Jim Wright.
Yeah.
Uh,
So Jim Wright unseated Ryan Sitton in a big upset nobody saw coming.
Yeah, yeah. I was very disappointed that he didn't win this
Yeah.
primary
Yep.
against Bo. Was it Bo French or something?
Correct.
Just the name should have not made you not vote for Bo French. Are you familiar with the other candidate, the new the?
Yes, Bo French, from the upstream world, family from Midland, Texas. He lives in the DFW area. He's a strong party activist. And so once you get to the runoff level, he had a higher, I would say, probably chance of winning. The odds for him were higher because he was such an activist on the Republican side. But I personally believe like the energy companies should have came out stronger for Jim in the primary election to try to avoid the runoff, and that didn't occur, and then Bo ended up
Why do you think
taking
they
the seat.
didn't do that?
A lot of people get complacent and they think, oh, he's going to win it. He has it in the bag for sure. And you should never be complacent, especially in an election.
Yeah, he's a good man.
Mm-hmm. He's South Texas.
Yes. Right? And that's what I told somebody. There was a pastor that was kind of, putting out his slate, who he was going to vote for. And, you have a right to vote for whoever you want. And he was kind of giving his suggestions. And he was for French. And I was like, no, pastor, like he's Jim Wright is South Texas. He's from here. He knows our issues. He's going to fight for us and do for us. And I don't remember, he said he wanted transparency or something like that, of that nature. And I was like, well, just call him up and sit down and talk to him. I don't know if he tried or not, but I just know him to be a good man. And I was hoping and rooting for him. I had him on the podcast, and I just, hearing him speak, I was like, yeah, I hope he continues. I also got to meet Dawn Buckingham.
Yeah.
And she stood out. Have you had a chance to conversate with her?
Yes, I have.
I met her at the State of Energy a couple years ago, I think. And she walked in, looking like somebody important.
I think Dawn Buckingham will be the lieutenant governor of Texas one day.
Really?
So,
you heard it here, ladies and gentlemen. Well, she had a magazine there at the event on one of the tables, and she grabbed it and gave it to me. And she's got like a nice coat and cowboy hat, a silver belly hat. And I was like, wow, that's very impressive. Just her presence is very strong. So I wouldn't doubt if that's what happens with her.
Yep.
You have a chance to talk to her on a regular?
When things come up with the GLO for our district, yes.
What kind of relationship has to exist between the state rep and somebody like her?
Yeah, I have a relationship, or at least try to build a relationship with any of the statewide candidates.
Mm-hmm.
So you're talking agriculture, general land office, railroad commission, all of those things. And then also the legislatures over all of the state agencies. So I guess in that way too. So like, even though railroad commission was over, like Jim Wright was over the railroad commission, the legislature is the one who funds it and creates the framework and law for it.
Right.
So yeah, when I was on the appropriations committee, I was actually over Article 678 that dealt with TxDOT, TCQ, Water Development Board, Railroad Commission, all of those things.
Mm-hmm. So how are you liking being in that political world?
It's campaigning and legislating are two very different animals. Mm-hmm. And I'm very good at legislating.
Are you? Okay. Well, when you first were campaigning against Solomon Ortiz
Mm-hmm.
Jr., I met you here at the church. You came and blessed us with your presence here, and just asked us for your vote. I thought that was great, and you just come across as a very humble, simple person, and I would never expect that negotiating, that aggressive conversationalist part of you to be there. You're kind of
Yeah.
deceptive, which is good, I guess, right? They don't know what to expect.
Yeah. So I will say, kind of going with the theme that we have here, networking was probably my biggest friend on the floor. So in the House for Texas, there's 150 members. We're 88 Republicans, and then the rest are Democrats. I'm actually the only Republican with a Democrat district. And so because of that, I was able to make friends with every single person on that floor
Mhm.
and help push through all of their legislation and ideas that they were hoping for their community.
Mhm.
And yeah, it just made me a very good and strong legislator that way. And then at the same time, I was able to pass 11 bills myself, the second most of any other freshman. And I was able to bring back home $50 million, most of probably a lot of people on that floor.
Mhm.
Uh, and it really showed at the end of session how much I was able to accomplish because of the relationships I built.
So I saw that. So you brought home 50 million, the most of anybody on the floor, you said.
I said not the most of the people on the floor. So definitely
Most.
by far the majority of the freshmen. No one I
No, it
think
came
that
close to
the
you.
next one was 10 million, and that was for a kind of a memorial for what happened in Uvalde.
Okay.
And then outside of that, the next closest freshman was maybe like 5 million. Like
Yeah.
I got 50.
All
Like yeah.
right. So you went to work.
I did, yeah.
Mhm.
I was on a radio show this morning, and I was describing to them in the legislature, there are definitely workhorses and show ponies, and I am a workhorse.
All right. Yeah, I'm getting that vibe from you. And like I said before, you just seem like a, nice person that wouldn't have that aggressive make it happen. But I'm starting to actually see it the more you talk. I was like, oh yeah, it's there. And that's also because you seem like you were able to get along with anybody.
Hmm. Yep.
Yeah. Did you use that to your advantage? I think you said yes, right?
100% of the time. Yeah.
Yeah. So would you say, is it completely natural, or is there some strategy and purpose on it? Or I know there's purpose, but I think you know what I'm talking about, right?
Yeah. I'm still pretty young, right?
Mhm.
I'm 32 years old. Uh, I feel like going into Austin, I was actually pretty naive on everything that happens there
Mhm.
inside Pandora's box.
Yeah.
And I think that played to my benefit of a lot. Because I didn't expect like people to stab me in the back or to be gossiping and all those like I just
Not in
thought
politics.
yeah, I was so naive. I just thought everyone was my assumption was everyone is genuinely a good person and there to do the absolute best for their community, and obviously it's not that way.
Wow.
But that's how I approached every single conversation is you're here to do what's best for your community, I'm here to do what's best for my community, let's find common ground and let's accomplish it.
Ain't it sad that they're not there for that?
Yeah.
What did you find that some people's motives were?
Power, money, all the things you see in the Bible
Yeah,
were definitely personal motives that some of the legislators had. So
really.
yeah.
So that must mean that their character is not the best.
Yeah, I guess.
How did they get to that level then?
um
Do people not spot it? Do they not discern it?
I'm not quite sure. Seniority has a ton to play into it. One party issues or one issue candidates play a lot into it. Um,
Mm,
Party labels play a
mm.
lot into it. Everyone's election is different. Like there's so many different factors.
Do you think a lot of people vote on personality?
Uh, I would think some people I get there's two different types of voter, right? In my opinion. Uh there's the one that's gonna stay true to their party no matter what. And then there's the one that, no, I'm going to vote the best candidate no matter what. And I feel like in South Texas, we actually have a lot more of, I'm going to vote for the best candidate. And that's how I'm in my role today, right? Again, only Republican with the Democrat district. When I ran for office the first time, my district was 54% Democrat. 54%. I won with 55% of the vote. Over 3,000 people voted for Kamala Harris and then Denise Villalobos. Like we didn't focus on party politics whatsoever. We talked about helping kids, backing cops, and doing what's best for our community the entire campaign. And that rang through. And that's exactly what I went to Austin, and that's what I was pushing.
And I believe that that's what everybody should vote on.
Yep.
The person and the candidate and what they're really going to do. Back when like somebody like Beto O'Rourke was running, he was on a skateboard, he had a pickup truck, and he liked Whataburger, and people were voting for him for that. And I'm like, you're kidding me, right? Like, that's not what you're basing your vote on, is it? But a lot of people were.
Yeah. I guess I could see that aspect of someone I would like to have a beer with, right? Like, oh, that's a cool guy. Like,
yeah. Well, I don't drink.
Yeah, but no, I'm
know
just
what you're talking about,
the
just
phrase.
Yeah. That's it's unfortunate, I think, because we have somebody running right now like James Tallarico, which I don't know him personally, but I'm hearing a lot of stuff. I'm actually trying to get him on the podcast. I'd love to have an opportunity to talk to him. But he's causing a stir, ain't he?
I could text him and ask.
Could you?
I served with him in the legislature. Like I said, I created relationships with all 149 other members.
Okay, so here it is. Here's the challenge.
Okay.
Bobby Pulido said he'd get him for me.
Okay.
And he hasn't. So I'm calling out Bobby. Let's see who gets it done.
Okay.
Here's a challenge, and then I'll bring you back, and we'll have a pizza party. So what is the most surprising thing that you've discovered up there?
Again, being naive, I didn't realize how much propaganda there actually is in politics, like at all. And I should have realized that. And then after realizing that, I also thought, wow, how many times have I succumbed to that propaganda just through the media, believing something that wasn't 100% true. And I'll give you an example. So after I was elected, but before I was sworn in, it's like 45 to 60 days. And there was this big speaker's race for who's going to be the Speaker of the House, right? It was between two main candidates. And they were fighting each other heavily. And I just got elected. So I don't know anything that's happening. I don't know who anyone is. I don't know Joe from Michael, like what. And they're like, who are you going to vote for? Who's your speaker choice? Who? And then when I didn't like decide immediately, or when I asked too many questions, then they started putting text messages out in my district. And they were like, to all the like Republicans, and they said, Denise is colluding with liberal Democrats to elect like a socialist speaker. And I was like, I haven't even been sworn in yet. Like, I haven't even been to Austin yet. Like, who am I colluding with? Like, this is what? And so it was insane to me, like, just thinking about how many times had I received a text message before I was in there and like just believed it at face value when it could be an absolute lie. And then on top of that, going back to the workhorses and the show ponies. So all the people you see on like Fox News or CNN, and I can say this at the state level, and I bet it's like that at the federal level, or the people you follow on X that are like strong activists and like, I'm fighting for the party. They're not getting any work done. They didn't pass any bills. They're not bringing any money home. They are there to build their brand. And then you have, and I would say it's probably the 10 to 15% on both sides. And then you have the people in the middle
actually
that are there to work for the state of Texas.
So they build their brands and then lock themselves in?
and try to move to higher
They sure.
offices or monetize that with social media nowadays. Like, it's insane.
That's how they get in there and
Write a
become
book.
millionaires.
Yeah, yeah.
Wow. So do you see that? I know we see it at the federal level. Do you see that at the state level as well?
Yes.
People making their brands?
Yes.
Who would you say is somebody like that?
I'm not going to say.
I almost had you. No? You can't? You'd be in trouble?
You can definitely find them if you go on X. Yeah.
Even people on your side?
Yes, both sides.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. I see that. I see, and I've said it before. I'm not Democrat, Republican. I'm common sense. I'm going to look at what's going on, and that's what I'm going to go with because I know that exists. And I don't think having somebody that's rotten like that just because they're your party is going to be effective or is going to go the way you want it to go just because they have the R or the D, whatever you go for. So you have to be very careful.
Yep.
It's unfortunate when they're just running against the Democrat. And it's almost like, oh, what would I do there?
Yeah. I will say a colleague of mine explained it really well. We call them bomb throwers in the legislature, right? And a lot of the bomb throwers are from metropolitan areas, right? So like Houston has like
Dallas.
26 reps or something. Well, Corpus Christi only has 2, right? And so another colleague of mine explained it as, Denise, if you were a bomb thrower, you wouldn't accomplish anything. Well, if I don't accomplish anything, that means Robstown gets nothing at the end of the day. Bishop gets nothing. Agua Dulce, Benketti, Driscoll, they all get nothing. But when you're in the metropolitan area, well, there's 26 members representing Houston. So one of them could be a bomb thrower, and the other 25 will do the work to bring stuff back.
Mm-hmm.
And so they said you can never afford it. Your cost to being that would be your community.
Wow. And some sacrifice their community, right?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. You got an example of that?
No. I just
I'm gonna have to do better here. I gotta get behind that, break down that wall. So it's you and is it Adam Hinojosa that's state rep?
Me and Chairman Hunter.
Oh.
So Todd has pretty much Everhart Road to the coastline, and I have Everhart Road to the county line.
Okay. Adam Hinojosa is
senator.
Is senator.
The state senator, yeah.
Okay.
Him and Chewy are our 2 state senators.
Hinojosa.
Yes.
He's still in there.
Yes.
And I hear he's a great guy.
Oh yeah. The 4 of us, we are a strong South Texas delegation. We believe in South Texas values and putting that first above party.
Good.
And so we were able, we're 3 R's and a D. And before that, when it was Abel in my seat and La Mantilla, and it was 1 R and 3 Ds, like the South Texas delegation is strong to pushing community first in Austin, and all the other legislatures and all the other leadership positions in Texas strongly respect that.
Awesome. That's good. What the $50 million that you were able to get, what did it go to down here?
Yeah. So $46 million of that was specifically for emergency water projects for the city of Corpus Christi. Example, increasing the capacity of the Mary Roads pipeline. $4 million of it was for Nueces County Drainage District number 2 to fix the drainage concerns in Robstown and Petronila.
Do you think that'll get done?
Oh, I sure hope so. I mean, I definitely wish they could have been completed prior to all the rains and flooding we've just had, right?
They've started?
I'm not completely sure if the work has begun on those projects yet, but the fund, $4 million is there for them to do it.
Okay. That's been an issue for forever, and I get it. I mean, the way it rains here, it's either no rain or monsoons, right?
Yeah.
So people get surprised when it floods. I don't think that should be so surprising when it floods the way it floods. I think maybe even good streets and other places get flooded. Houston gets flooded a lot,
Yep.
right? So is it a reasonable expectation to believe that those things will get solved?
I believe so.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What's the strategy? What they have to do in order for that to become a reality?
They have already identified the different projects that need to happen, from Bosquez Street to building almost like a expanded ditch or man-made lake in the Petronila area. A ton of different. I think there's 4 or 5 projects that have already been identified, and they just need to break ground, get it done.
Is $4 million enough? for that?
They would definitely need more funding, I believe. I know Don Buckingham through the GLO also got them a grant, I believe. But there's
Is it the 86,000 that they?
I believe so. There's a ton of different money on the table. We just need to go access it.
Yeah. For these projects, for anything.
I would say just about any project.
How much money is out there that you're going and fighting for to try to get? I know it can't be unlimited, is it?
I guess let me tell you a quick story. So with that 46 million I got for emergency water projects in Corpus. So I'm on the appropriations committee. I help write the budget for the entire state of Texas for the biennium for 2 years, right? And while we were doing that, every single legislator came to me and the other people on the committee with their ask. Hey, we want to build this park in my community. Hey, we want a new hospital. Hey, we want a new jail. Hey, we want to fix our drainage issues. Like anything under the sun you could think of, people were asking us for. And then the committee meets, they kind of say, okay, let's go with these projects. And that's on the House side. Well, they're doing the same thing on the Senate side. And you kind of meet in the middle and you create the state budget. But the way the 46 million came about was the city of Houston came into my office and they said, Denise, Houston is the energy capital of Texas. I was like, oh, I think it's Corpus, but whatever. And they said, and when you look at our water lines, the Lynchburg pump is one singular pump that supplies all the water to all the refineries in Houston. So we would like $500 million so we can create redundancy. And so the refineries never have to shut down if the pump goes out. And I was like, time out. Like, I'm a freshman. You could ask for money for water? I had no idea. Like, I didn't even know you could ask for money, period. But you could ask for money for water. Immediately called the city of Corpus Christi. Like, we're in the middle of a water crisis. Why is the city in Houston in my office asking me for water money? And why are you not in my office asking me for water money? And then the deadline for budget writers was actually the next day. And I had them working all night long, creating a $50 million ask for different emergency water projects.
Who did you contact?
Drew Molly, when he was at CCW. Yeah, and we were able to capture 46 of the 50 that they had asked for.
So what was the answer? Why weren't they in your office?
They didn't realize you can go after such funding. They had not had a legislator from South Texas be on that appropriations committee, especially on the House side, in a while, which is insane. And then there was also the notion of, well, we may ask, but no way they're going to fulfill the request. And it's like, whoa, they're not going to fulfill anything if you don't ask for it. At least ask.
Well, Houston didn't have anybody in there either. And they were in there asking.
Yeah.
So why would a city like Corpus not know to go and ask for that?
Yep.
Is that strange?
Maybe.
What have we been missing out on as a city for having people that don't know that?
Yeah, exactly.
In those positions.
So now I've learned everything I learned my freshman year, and as soon as I came back, I met with just about all my governmental entities in the western half of Nueces County. And I was like, get your top. I met with the mayor of Robstown and I said, list out your top 10 priorities of money ask and send them to my office. Like, I want everyone's ask, and then my office can prioritize them and try to push as many as we can through the budget next cycle.
Wow. So it's not just on the city government, it's also on previous state reps.
Yeah.
Why did they not alert our cities to do that?
Yeah. I don't know. It's all, or let me say it this way. There are good years and bad years in Texas, right? So there's time, like we've had a surplus now for I think 3 straight years, like a very large surplus. But there's also years where oil's a bust and you're in the red and you're having to cut programs. You can't be delving out different projects. But to answer your previous question, I'm not sure. I happened to be in the ledge when it was a really good year and everyone had their hand out. And I was kind of short end of the stick because I didn't have as many requests as everybody else because I didn't know because I was a freshman.
So who can ask? Can just city government or can anybody ask? Like, could I have gone and asked?
Who through a nonprofit? Potentially. I know Ronald McDonald had came to us with a request. And I was trying to work hard to get their $2 million. We ended up falling short at the end of the day. And so that's one of my priorities for next session. But yeah, when I asked Chairman Hunter about it, like, I don't understand how a nonprofit can be asking for like money in the state of Texas. And his response was there's typically a way you can go about it to where things can be earmarked and stuff. But I'm not 100% sure. I don't know all the rules yet. But definitely at a governmental entity, I know asks can happen.
Well,
I'm
gonna ask. Absolutely. Well, we have downtown here in Robstown.
Yep.
You drive through Goliad, you drive through Cuero and downtown areas everywhere else. And it's so well preserved. It looks so nice. And then you drive through here and the potential is there, but nothing's happening, and a little facelift. I know that there needs to be businesses to fill those places, but I think even if it's just the facade or helping it, and it's not self-serving just because I'm here, but this is the city. We're doing our part to kind of beautify the city with our buildings, but it still costs. It still costs money.
I agree. I'm gonna side story real quick and kind of joke, but now as me and my husband like travel to different parts of Texas, and now we know what a state rep can bring back home to the community, and now we know the concept of like workhorses and show ponies. When we drive through like Waco, we're like, oh, this, like, it looks super nice, right? Like you're describing, oh, they have a good state rep. Like they've been bringing money home for decades, right? And that kind of, and it may not even be true, right? It might be the city doing it or someone else, but that's now the perception that we kind of have in the back of our mind of, oh, someone's been like super working for this community for a long time to get it to the place it is today.
Or wasn't.
Or, yeah. Or,
I think a lot of people have been elected into positions through Robstown, through the power of Robstown, especially a little bit further back. And they didn't really do much for Robstown. I've said it so often. Like I feel like they did things, used Robstown, and drained it.
Yeah.
They drained it for what they could get out of it and left here. Might have started here, but they didn't really do what they should have done for the city. They used it as a tool to get something out of it, like the motives we talked about earlier, and then just moved on to nicer areas and left us with the bag. People that voted for them, that voted them into those positions, believing in them, and then we got kind of the shaft.
Yeah. I can't speak to any of that, but I want to represent my community and bring as much back as I physically can. And that's important to me as a public servant, as someone with like a servant's heart. I want, yeah. If I could bring the moon back for y'all, I would try my best to do it.
But think about that. If we had that for
Yeah, a long period of
decades,
time. Yeah.
what would this community be?
Well, okay, let me pause here.
Okay.
So, Texas politics, the legislature, it leans R, right? It leans Republican. Me and Abel, my predecessor, had sat down before I went to Austin, and he helped mentor me even when I was in Austin, right?
He's a good man.
An excellent man.
Yes, sir.
Yes, ma'am. And he told, and I did not, my pre-Austin advice that he gave me, I didn't understand half of it because I hadn't experienced the legislature yet. And he told me in that very first like 3-hour coffee we had, he said, Denise, you're going to be able to bring back home more for this community than I ever was because of the letter behind your name. And that is so sad. That is so sad that the legislature works that way and that community suffer because of it. Because at the same time, he could be the best public servant in the world and not have accessibilities to the same tools I had because the letters behind our name.
That's interesting. But would networking be able to overcome that obstacle?
Seniority and networking, you can get stuff done. Yes.
And knowing something like that, wouldn't it be beneficial, or maybe wouldn't it be your duty to come back to your community and say, hey, we need an R up there?
I don't know. I don't think so.
No? Why? I mean, because locally, most D's are really R's. Most Democrats don't believe in abortion here locally.
Yeah.
They don't believe in all this liberalism and socialism. Well, maybe a little bit of socialism they believe in, but they believe in hard work. Why wouldn't they just say, hey, we're really ours? Why don't we go pull money for us as ours and tell the people that they are campaigning with?
South Texas Democrats are, a different breed than your Austins and your Houstons and your metropolitan areas. And I will say, I probably got along with best, including Republicans, like with the border Democrats of anyone, because we were South Texas values.
Correct. Which are, I had Bobby on, and Bobby's talking, and his stance is like, bro, you're a Republican. But they won't change that. There's like this super loyalty to the party that locally, I know plenty of Democrats that are in local positions that are great people. But as soon as you move into maybe even higher state, federal, it's horrible. Like I would even go as far as saying it's demonic.
The political system has gotten so toxic and so divisive. And I don't think that's good for the general public whatsoever. Like, you shouldn't have to say, oh, I'm going to change the letter behind my name so I can get something out of it. Like, it should be like, this is where my values lie and where they are. But where was I going with this? That's exactly the situation I'm in with my campaign right now. So I'm actually the #1 target because I flipped a seat and the Democrats want to flip it back. I'm going against a really strong environment, and it doesn't matter all the accomplishments I have. It doesn't matter that we ended parole for child traffickers. It doesn't matter that I helped with foster care DNA. It doesn't matter that I created more efficiencies in the government through the 11 bills that I passed, or that I increased the pension for all municipal police officers in the state of Texas, like through the bill I passed, or brought $50 million back home. What matters in campaign season is the letter behind your name. Yeah. And so during this campaign cycle, just like the last campaign cycle, I'm not about party politics. I'm about my community first. I'm going to tell you what I accomplish, and I'm going to tell you what my vision is for this community, and that's what we're going to run on. Kids, cops, and the community, like that. Yep.
Why are they so stuck on that? Why do you feel that I'll say our culture, Hispanics, they're so stuck on that D when they don't believe in transgenderism, they don't believe in like I said, abortion for the most part. I'm sure there's some that do, but why are they so stuck on that letter? I wasn't.
I don't think. I think they have a right to be where they are. Their national base left them. They didn't leave the party. Like they had the same values they had a decade, 2, 3 decades ago, but the national base is the one that left them.
Yeah.
And it's hard. Like it's a generational things. Like a lot of Hispanics grew up voting Democrat. I will say,
I did.
when all my family voted Democrat when I was a kid, right? They voted for Hillary Clinton. They voted for Obama. And then as I was growing up and I was learning more, taking like political tests online, and I was like, whoa, I think I'm a Republican. And then I would ask my family the exact same questions that you're talking about. Well, what's your stance on this and that and that and that? And then, well, look at these two candidates and what they believe in. Who do you really like align more with?
Right.
And now all my family votes Republican. So
right. Same. That was what happened with my dad. He was like, when Hillary was running against Trump, and he was like, I'm voting for Hillary, Trump this, Trump that. I was like, he's just like you. And my brothers and sisters started laughing. No. I was like, he is just like you. And as the campaigning went on, there was that debate where Trump said, I'm not okay with pulling a baby out of its mother's womb at 9 months, but if she's okay, well, that's on her, but I'm not. And she kind of in essence said, yeah, I'm cool with it. That right there did it for my dad. And he went to vote and he came over. We were having a men's breakfast. He came out. I just went to vote and I didn't vote for Hillary.
Yeah.
We're like, what? Like, no. I was like, you voted for Trump? And he's like, no, I couldn't vote for him, but I voted for the third party, whoever the other person was. But from then, Trump gets elected. He becomes like the biggest Trump fan, even bigger than me, probably. And he was all about it. He's always just listening to conservative radio and that kind of stuff. And he made a complete transformation. And I was like, wow. And it's not about the party. I believe that he saw the values, the morals that we believe in were being shared more by this group than that group. It had nothing to do with like, well, I'm no longer a Democrat, that this is what's important. That's not what's important. It's the values that we believe in as a people. Yeah. And I think that's what should lead us.
You've seen, or I guess we've seen a lot of South Texas leaders switch parties from Todd Hunter, J.M. Lozano, Ryan Guillen, all current House of Representatives that were Democrat representatives for a long period of time, and now they're Republican representatives. But it's that same notion of the party left them,
right?
But that's a tough decision for anyone to make.
Yeah, I get it.
And so again, identifying on candidates and who's going to push your community over the party label,
right?
Like that, those are just different coalitions, right? Yeah. And you need to look at who's going to do more and accomplish what you need for your community.
Yeah, because locally, a lot of those issues are not even at stake.
Yeah,
that we don't side with. So even a Democrat could do great things for your community because they're not involved in that mess.
Yep. So in the legislature this past session, there was 8,000 bills filed. I voted 4,000 times on the floor. Wow. I made 4,000 decisions on the behalf of House District 34. Wow. And so I also kind of get upset when someone's like, I don't like you because of this one vote. I was like, I had 3,999 other votes. Like,
right.
And then at the end of the day, the governor actually only signed, I think it was 1,000 bills into law. And so like a funnel from that massive amount of information, 8,000 bills filed to like 1,000 actually made it into law.
Wow. I had a chance to do like a mock little thing and be on a committee and pass a bill with, I don't remember, Rick Green, I think. He's got a place out there in Fredericksburg with Citizens Defending Freedom and
Yeah.
Patriots.
Patriot Academy.
Patriot
Yeah.
Academy. So it was really cool to see and be part of a committee and pass a bill, and that was really cool. Mine was to not allow the Chinese to buy property here.
Yep.
In,
We passed that this session.
did y'all?
Yep.
So was that me? Did I do that?
I think so.
So it was really cool. But yeah, all that is, it's amazing to just be part of it. I mean, just to do a trial and mock, but you're experiencing that. You're living that. It's got to be exciting
Yeah. It
to
was
see things
actually,
pass.
it was actually pretty intimidating at first. One, everyone's like way taller than me, and two, just the experience level they have, and then the type of issues they're talking about. So like, I know oil and gas. I've been in oil and gas. I know that really well. But then you're talking about like the medical field, and like I have to learn and be versed in like every single topic under the sun at least a little bit, in order to make proper decisions for our district on the floor. And so you would see like senior house members or like juniors, where we get a bill on the floor and they're not sure what to do, and we have a phone kind of right here, and they would pull it out, and you call like a doctor back home, hey, this bill's on the floor, like they just did this amendment, are we still for this bill, or how is it going to affect us back home? And then the next one's about something on education, and they'll call like their favorite superintendent, hey, this happened to this bill, or oh no, we don't like it, like try to like get that amendment off. It's like, okay. But the network you have and the relationships you build are so important, especially once I get to Austin and have to make 4,000 decisions on behalf of the community.
Who was your most called person?
Who was my most called person? County Judge Connie Scott.
Really?
Yeah. She had served in the legislature prior. And so I had asked her a ton, like, hey, this is happening right now. Like what? But I called a variety of people, when it came to different issues. Also very close to the superintendent, Tolosa Midway. Previously, I was on their school board. So when it came to educational things, I would talk to him. I guess I had kind of like group texts. I had a superintendent group text. I had a plant manager group text with all the refineries. Like, and so I'd be like, hey, this is happening.
I want to be on a group text.
We'll start the pastors group
there you
text.
go.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a good one, because there's some moral things that probably need to be passed or not passed, and that'd be a good call.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So Judge Scott got you through a few of them, huh?
Yes, she did.
She's a very smart individual.
I actually worked on her first campaign when I was in high school, and we've through networking, right? And we've been connected ever since. So
wow, that's awesome. That's awesome. So earlier you mentioned that Houston came into your office and said that they were the leading energy hub, or what was that? What was the statement?
Yeah, they said that Houston was the energy capital of
there
Texas.
You go. And you said Corpus is.
Yeah, definitely.
Tell me about that. How is Corpus?
Mean, with the war that was happening in Iran, Corpus Christi was the #1 crude export of the world. It wasn't Houston.
Really?
Yeah. When I worked at pipelines and terminals at Flint Hills, and we would talk about moving shipment off the port and stuff, more barrels came to Corpus Christi because we had the more competitive rate compared to Houston. Even though the ships had to travel a little bit further distance, our rates were so competitive. Barrels,
they came here.
Yeah, barrels came here.
So who's to credit for that? Is it the port? Corpus Christi?
I would say the port and Industry Row, like the refineries, like every.
So Industry Row is taking care of Corpus, huh?
100%, yes.
And yet there's some people dogging the city council because they're so industry friendly. Yet if we don't have industry, like we lose.
Yep.
I mean, I'm sure that you're looking at that fight over there and you're like, what are y'all doing? What are you rooting for when it comes to that?
I back industry.
Hmm.
I know what they provide not only to the Corpus economy, to the coastal bend economy, to the state economy, to internationally.
Mm.
So when I worked at Flint Hills Resources, we provided all the jet fuel to DFW, to American Airlines. Like if Corpus ran out of water, like planes would stop flying in
Wow.
DFW. We have BASF in Bishop. They provide all the ibuprofen for the Western Hemisphere. If Corpus ran out of water, you would not have Advil and ibuprofen in your
Mm.
medicine cabinet right now.
Wow.
We have Chenier across the bridge that provides like 60% of the LNG to the Netherlands for their electrical grid. If Corpus Christi runs out of water, the Netherlands electrical grid goes down.
Wow.
Like there is so much we do right here. And then I'll tell you the funniest one, and this doesn't have to do with industry, but HEB has their big tortilla bakery right here. And if Corpus
No.
Christi runs out of water, there will not be
No
tortillas in
tortillas.
Texas.
Hey, so Corpus is not capitalizing on that, is it?
No, not at all.
By how much is Corpus missing that opportunity?
I as soon as when I was in Austin, okay, they were saying stage 4 at the time. We weren't calling it emergency water level 1. We're calling it stage 4. Stage 4 is going to happen in August of 2025. And every single committee I was in appropriations and natural resources, I'm on the water committee too. And when I was on the House floor, I would say the same exact speech. Everything I just said, from the airplanes to the medicine to uh and I would say if Corpus Christi goes down, like the Texas economy goes down, and like we need your help. And that's how I was able to bring home
50
$50
million.
million dollars. And we pushed that curtailment date from August of 2025 to where it is now, probably in 2027, right? All from the money I brought home, which is insane. But squeaky wheel gets the grease. And I
Mhm.
was telling everyone, we are in trouble. We need help. And at the time, because this was January, February of 2025. At the time, I kind of felt like Chicken Little because
Mm.
everybody's like,
The sky
"What?
is falling. No
There's no
water.
water crisis like happening in
Oh
Corpus.
yeah.
Like you're in stage 3 like the rest of the state." And I'm like, "You don't understand like how catastrophic it can get for Corpus Christi because of our large volume users." And so I was constantly explaining that story. And I believe the city of Corpus Christi should have done a better job explaining that story up front back in early 25, back in late 2024, so that way they can get the national attention, the state's attention way earlier on than now, right?
Hmm. So by how much are we not capitalizing on it?
I yeah, I think it's gotten better,
So
but
let me ask you like this. What could Corpus be? Like, what does Corpus have the potential of being right now just because of the port?
oh, huge. We have tremendous potential. Just yesterday they signed uh with man, I forgot DP World, a container. Containers are coming to the port of Corpus Christi. They signed their first contract with them. Like that's another industry they're now unlocking. But we had, I'd say at the time when we were entering stage 4, there was like 7 or 8 different um, business deals that were like, we want to come to Corpus Christi. Like the competitiveness of the market down here and our water crisis either stalled them or they
Mm.
went to Louisiana or they went to Houston or they went to like all these.
Brownsville,
Yeah,
the
exactly.
one that Trump announced from in Brownsville, was that supposed to be here?
I'm not 100% sure if that one was supposed to be here. I know they had been working on that for a while, but we did lose out on a lot of different economic opportunity for our area because of the current crisis we're in and the perception it had on the business community nationwide, which
Yeah.
is insane.
And you still have, I don't know what your take is on this with the desal, but you still have city council members that are continue to stall that. Is that going to be an issue for us?
It's already affecting our credit ratings at the city, and when the city's credit rating goes down, it does not just affect them. It affects everyone else in the region, and it does affect the state of Texas. And so I've had several conversations with the governor's office on their disappointment in that, and like New York Stock Exchange and the bond brokers up there on what's happening in Corpus.
So those 5, I think there's 5. I don't know them personally. I don't even know who they are. So it's not like I'm picking on anybody. But what I hear is they call themselves like the Fab Five or something like that, which is, but they're stalling. They're stalling the desal thing. That's affecting the markets in New York.
Yeah, well, so they provide the bond money, and there's SWIFT loans that had gone through Texas Water Development Board for like that specific project. And so as they push the project, they're pushing when the loan installment dates are. And so the bond market in New York is like, so are you going to do this or not? Like, waiting is probably the worst thing you can do. If it's going to be a no, make it a no, so everyone can get on with what's the next thing. If it's going to be a yes, then let's go do it. But the waiting and dragging it out is actually what's causing all the frustration and turmoil.
Yeah.
I know there's a variety of water projects in the portfolio from, I mean, the groundwater, the reuse, the brackish water, several different seawater desalination projects. But right now, the one you have the majority of the funding for, you're kicking the can. If it's going to die, kill it, and then let's move on to the next project and get everyone behind that one.
Are you for the desal?
I'm for all water.
Yeah.
Yes, I will push. Good. I will push whatever project the community brings to me up in Austin.
Yeah. So I think they should have done it, and it was a little frustrating a few Tuesdays ago. But so here you have the Port of Corpus Christi. I had the privilege of going and doing the invocation for one of their meetings. So I was like thrilled. I was like, I'm at the Port of Corpus Christi. It was an honor to do it. But how held back do you believe that the Port of Corpus Christi feels with the city of Corpus? Do you think that they're limiting them?
I'll give it 2 ways. So the port saw this problem coming a decade ago, right? And so a decade ago, the port already started doing environmental studies on the bay to bring seawater desalination.
Right.
They looked at La Quinta Channel, they looked at Harbor Island, they looked at a ton of different stuff, right? And so they're doing all this work because they're seeing industry tell them, hey, this might be a problem in the future. Hey, you're not going to be able to expand the way you want to expand because this is our limiting factor. And then the city of Corpus Christi is like, whoa, you're not a water provider. Why are you getting in our business? And then it started the fighting. And so the port has known and has been working towards it. And they're the ones that are the leaseholders to Harbor Island now, right? And they had the permits for La Quinta and they gave them to the city of Corpus Christi. But it was a very much like, no, city of Corpus Christi, like, no, we need to do it. And it's like, calm down. Like, someone just needs to do it. Like, it.
Has that not been the story of Corpus government?
Yep.
That you have people who are educated and professionals in what they're doing, and they're doing this service or trying to bring something to the downtown area of Corpus. But then you got these people here that probably have no experience, no education in those things. I'm not saying they're not educated, but they don't have any education in those matters. Yet they're dictating and holding these people back from really taking our community and our city to new levels.
Yep.
How does the port deal with that? I'm trying to get somebody from the port. You probably have their number.
Oh, yeah. I know all of them. Yes.
Yeah. I tried to get, who's the CEO?
Kent Britton.
Kent. I tried to get Kent, and I went through an assistant, and she was like, no, you talk too much about God.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh,
so
wow.
I was like, really?
Okay.
I got so many different episodes that are not, just, I was like, well, keep putting some out, and then I'll review. And if I was like, there's plenty of them. There's Mike Cottons. There's this, but yeah.
You can get you don't need someone like employed by the port. You can definitely get a port commissioner on here. I think any of the 7 would be
Omar
willing to do it. No. Omar, uh,
works on there.
Kent Brennan just texted me.
Oh, it's meant to be. It's meant to be. Tell him right now. I'm on a podcast you need to be on.
Oh, wow.
Yeah,
Okay.
you see that?
But no, Gabe Guetta is the chairman of the
Okay.
port right now.
I met him.
He'd be excellent to have on this
All right.
podcast. Michael Hunter, newly
Know him
elected
as
to
well,
the
yeah.
to the port. Yeah, they
Gabe was a bank guy, right?
Clayburg Bank.
Mm.
Yes. All 7 have pretty amazing stories themselves, and so they can tell you about themselves, and then also tell you all the great things that are happening at the port.
All right. I'm going to get Gabe. He seemed like a great guy.
Yeah.
I mean, so is Hunter, but for whatever reason, I thought maybe I should get that guy, which was Gabe. But I just thought Omar or Kent would be better people to get on, but maybe not. Or maybe so. Maybe that's a sign. Maybe that is a sign. What do they communicate with you? Like some of those
Oh, yeah. I
frustrations?
communicate with all of my public entities on the good, bad, and the ugly.
Mhm. So God's blessed us with this rain.
Mhm.
I feel like it's helped out a lot with the arguments taking place over there in the city. And what do you feel this rain's doing right now for us?
It's pushing back curtailment 100%.
Yeah.
We're probably looking at March, maybe even getting into Q2 of 2027 now, which is excellent. Because when we were looking at end of year, that was pretty terrifying. Even when it had moved up to the middle of the year. And that was because all the refineries and chemical plants and industry, large volume users, are working on their independent water projects. And they have an
Right.
end date of end of year.
Mhm.
And so it was like, oh, is it going to happen in time? Is it not? But once those projects happen, there's going to be a large amount of water taken off the municipal
books.
system. Yeah.
That's exactly what me and council member Barrera talked about.
Yes.
And we talked about that. I said, hey, they're getting their water. What would you call it? Sources.
Mm-hmm.
They're not waiting on the city.
Correct.
They're their own business. They're smarter than that. They're
Yes.
going to make a way because they're not going to shut down just because they don't get their act together.
And that will allow curtailment date to push out and allow time for our reservoirs to recharge and all of those things.
But we lose as a city. Well,
Oh, 100%.
Mhm.
Yes.
That's exactly the conversation we're having. I was like, why don't they see that? They're not going to wait around for them.
Yep.
And we get the short end of the stick because the show must go on.
Yep.
They're going to make it happen.
When you think about, the only thing the city does for the large volume users is water. The large volume users have their own police, they have their own firefighters, they have their own wastewater. The only thing they provide is water. And when you cannot do that in a consistent regulatory environment, then private industry is going to look elsewhere.
Wow.
And then they do sign IDA agreements with them for being like outside of city limits and stuff. And all of that revenue, like that helps to fund our fire and police departments. And so you can imagine how those agreements may look in the future when they're relying even less on the city.
Well, that's very interesting. And I thank God for the rain. I really do believe that it is a God thing.
Mm-hmm.
I mean,
100%.
people would say, well, this would have to happen. This much rain we would need. And God's just pouring it and pouring it and pouring. I'm like, oh, thank you, Jesus. My ranch was dirt.
Yeah.
I mean, dirt. I was going over there almost every day burning cactus so the cows could eat and buying bales of hay. And then around Easter time, it rained and then it hasn't stopped since. And now you drive over there and there's so much grass. I haven't had to burn. I go try to burn and the cows, raise their noses at me. They got plenty. Thank God for that. And I don't take it. I don't miss, how can I say it? What God is doing. Like I'm very aware that it is a God thing. Would you say it is a God thing?
100%.
Where does faith come into the picture in what you do and believing God to use you in this arena, political arena?
All the glory to God. And I truly he puts us in the right place at the right time.
Mhm.
One, like I was the underdog in my election. Like none of the polls said I was going to win. But for me to be in this position now at this critical point during a water crisis
Mhm.
as an engineer that has the background from industry and what that means to the Texas economy and being able to communicate that on a like layman's terms kind of to like the other House of Representatives to bring back like what we need. That's all God.
Mhm.
Like if I am my most effective in the current crisis we are in right now, I'm talking to TCEQ, Water Development Board, the governor's office almost every single day because I just my expertise aligns perfectly for the point I was elected.
For such a time as this.
Yes, yeah, and that's insane. Like God provides at the exact same. It's all in His timing,
Mm.
and His timing is perfect. And you may have a personal plan for yourself. Like I think I ran for school board 4 different times before I finally got elected.
Mhm.
But it's all in God's timing. It's all when it needs to happen.
Right.
Eh,
As you were explaining that, the story of Esther came up to me, and that for such a time as this, God put you there for this particular moment. And I believe that we need more Christians, more believers
Yeah,
in positions like that.
yeah. I'll even I'm gonna say kind of like some personal things. Uh, but so I'm a foster parent, right?
Mhm.
And we see a lot of foster kids in my house. We were able to adopt my son last year. Uh,
Congratulations.
thank you.
Mhm.
And all in God's timing, right? And there's this one teenage girl I had last year, during spring break. And so I was in the ledge, like I'm super busy. And so I said, okay, well, you're coming to Austin with me.
Mhm.
And so this girl went from the broken environment she had living in one room in a meth house with her dad and mom and brother, being in that environment to being in the capital of her state of Texas for that week,
Wow.
meeting different legislatures, getting to tell her foster story to them as we're passing bills
Wow.
to help kids like her.
Wow.
Like that's all God's timing. We had another a teenage girl when I was on the campaign trail, and they'll text you in the middle of the night, hey, this case, like someone just got removed from their home, like we need a place for her to sleep and stay and all this stuff till we get things situated. And it was the night that Greg Abbott was coming down to do a fundraiser for me. Probably my busiest night, right? But you never say no. Like doors always open.
Mhm.
And so my response was like, yes, she can come. Does she have a dress or do I need to go buy her one? And she came all like in her little dress and it was torn. I didn't even know. And she had put like band-aids on the back of it. And she came and she met the governor herself and took photos with him.
Wow.
And it's a fundraiser, right? So it's all these big donors from around the coastal bend that are there, and I got to introduce her to people, and she went on like a little shopping spree the next day with one of the a mom donor, and
Mhm.
it's just amazing the way God works and brings the right people in your life at the right
Oh, yeah.
time, and then brings people in the right situations at the right time.
All right. Scripture says that all things work together for the good of those who love God, for those who are the called according to His purpose. I believe that you've been called to be there at this moment, and I've learned so much about you in this conversation. It's pretty amazing. You mind, before we close, if I pray for you quickly?
Yeah, definitely.
Let's pray. Because you're up for re-election.
Yes, I am.
And when will that take place?
On the ballot in November.
This November.
Yeah,
All right.
November 3rd.
Father, in the name of Jesus, we come before you, Lord, and I lift up State Representative Denise Villalobos before your presence, Lord, and I pray your blessing over her life, spirit, soul, and body. And Lord, I pray your favor to continue, Lord God, over her life. I pray that you would use her for your honor and your glory in the state legislature and in everything that she puts her hand to do, Lord, that it would prosper these coming elections in November, Lord, I pray your hand over her, and I pray, Lord, that you would protect her from all incoming, Lord God, opposition and those who would threaten or accuse or whatever attempts of the enemy over her life, Lord. I pray that those fiery darts would be quenched through her faith, Lord, and I pray for blessing just to rest upon her, her family, the children that she has, biological and fostered. And I pray, Lord, that you would use her in powerful and amazing ways, Lord, in her positions. Lord, we love you. We thank you in Jesus' name. Amen.
Amen.
Amen. All right. State Representative Denise Villalobos, thank you so much for joining me in the den.
Yeah,
One of the most interesting conversations I've ever had.
Thanks. Thank you so much.